Hello, hello, hello. Happy quilting. I am getting a very slow start today. It was a rainy, gross, disgusting morning that was perfect for sleeping in and doing nothing. So that's what I did. Got a late start today. So I'm here and I am getting ready to do some quilting. So, what have you been up to? Leave me a comment when you get here so I know that comments are working. I am working on color blocks and feathers and new quilt patterns and all sorts of new stuff, which is really fun. Let's see. I want to see if any comments came through, if they're working today. Comments don't always work on Facebook, just the way it is. You've been gardening. I wish. I'm actually planning a garden for next year. I don't garden ever. Heat index of 105. Ugh. I think we're only, about 80 today. Oh, actually, it's 73 right now, but it's muggy. It's been raining for a couple days, which we need. So it's summer, and I'm going to be unhappy about that until it's over. Not much of a summer person. The things that save me for summer are that I get to go to the farm and do all of my cooking and everything. All the fresh produce is lovely, and riding my bicycle. I have an electric bike that I enjoy riding. Hello in Ohio, Patty OH. Um, so some of the I've been planning a garden for next year. Oh, Molly, you have a drought in central Illinois. Believe it or not, after next year, after last year, we had such a profound drought last year that I was checking the drought monitor all the time, the US drought monitor. And I just checked now, and we are drier, which is the least amount they track. Last year, we were close to the most. So yeah, we have been dry, and I've been grateful for the rain, which my daughter said she was going to have to go to her garden. They have a community plot, so it's not at their house because they live in an apartment. So she's like, we're gonna have to go to the plot every night with all the rain coming because the zucchini are going to grow a foot a day. They're going to have to keep picking zucchini because they grow so much. She lives about 100 miles north of me, but is also getting all of the rain this week. So I have been planting a garden. I don't like gardening because outside bending and all of that, but I like fresh food. Um, and I'm not consistently able to get out and work in a garden, just health, being real. And I don't want to start something that my husband has to finish. That's not fair to him. So I'm planning 5-gallon bucket garden on my deck. I have compost going. I'll be working with potting soil, and I'm planning on putting garlic in the ground this fall, onions in the ground next spring, and then in my deck buckets, I was thinking of planting carrots. Yep, and snow peas and a couple other things. So I'm having fun with it. I also have dreams of having a pig because I think I'd love having a pig on my property, but I don't know that I'm allowed, and I wouldn't because I could fatten a pig every year and then eat bacon. I could also have a cow for milk, and I want to be a homesteader, but I'm lazy, so I'm not going to be a homesteader. So I might have a 5-gallon bucket garden. Oh, potatoes! Potatoes are the main thing I'm going to grow in my bucket garden, because who doesn't love taters? Anyway, that's my dreams of being a homesteader that don't really work. So my food is all grown within 2 miles of my house, but it's grown by someone else. Hello, Missy. I'm glad you're here. Let's see. I have a list of a few things to tell you. I was out teaching last week. I had a guild presentation where I took probably 50 different color block quilts with me because it was about color blocks. The the guild said they had never had as many quilts shown at an event because I just kept bringing them out. And I have contractor bags from whenever we had to pack all of our clothes and sheets and towels and all of our fabric stuff as our house was being rebuilt. So I still have those great big bags. And I had 3 or 4 of those filled with quilts. And I got to introduce a bunch of new people to color blocks, which was wonderful. Some people aren't really scrap quilters, but all quilters have scraps. And quilters like charity quilts and such. So I think the color blocks are great for that. And for folks who are new here, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And this is a color block. It is taking all of your squares into taking all of your scraps into 2.5-inch squares and sewing 16 patches. I've been working through my blues lately. So I have a blue quilt ready to quilt. I redid the monkey wrench, which was from 2021. Hi, Carol. I'm glad you're here. I redid the monkey wrench and put a border on it. So that's ready to quilt. Um, and I have other things planned. So that's pretty exciting. The new folks at the Guild who hadn't heard of color blocks, they really enjoyed it. And it made me excited about it all over again. Kathy, you've been practicing. I'm so glad. Hi, I'm glad you're here. Practice is important. So the color blocks have been really fun, and I have my machine is set up right now to quilt balloons when I'm done here. The camera is set up, the lights are set up, the camera is charged, I'm ready to go. I will be quilting the balloon quilt and moving on. Getting all, going through all of my color block quilts, and then I resorted them and organized them into 2021, 2022, 2023 bonus packs, etc. So they're easier to find if I want to do, any publishing with them or anything. Then Thursday and Friday, I was teaching in Connecticut, which is I'm just across the border, so it's about an hour away. And I took 4 more bags of quilts. In other words, you can't walk in my living room because every quilt I own is stacked in my living room right now. Fortunately, it's just my husband and I, and neither of us care, and we're very patient with each other. So I'm putting away a few quilts at a time and trying to regain the ground that I lost pulling everything out. But it was fun organizing everything, and I get to redo a bunch of stuff. So that is what I have going. Oh, Kathy, thank you. It was a great class in Connecticut. I had so much fun being there. It was fabulous, fabulous. Now, what was super about it was I almost came home with a dog. Someone had a service dog, and he was a great dog, and I wanted to steal him. So I was wondering, how many of you have animals that you quilt with? Cat or dog? And are they good quilting companions? You can put their names and species, breed, or just general cat, dog in the comment section. Because I am a post-pet household. My husband cared for my pets, my cats, for 20 some years. In the last 15 of those while I was traveling, and he has requested that he does not care for any more pets. I'm welcome to have pets, but I am not in a condition to care for a pet every day, so no pets. If I were rich, I'd have pets and have someone to do the care on the days that I couldn't. Anyway, I just enjoy animals. So how many of you quilt with animals? And this was the world's most perfect dog because he was in the quilt shop, just laid there quietly, peacefully, except when we had to go over and snuggle with him, like a really good dog. There's nothing better than a well-trained dog. So just had to, I got pictures with the dog and sent them to my girlfriend, who was, called me right away in the car and making baby noises to the dogs. Anybody else? You got to have friends like that with the animals. Let's see. We have a rat terrier you're training to be a good sewing room dog. That sounds a little small. Is that a barking dog? I've never been a dog person. I like dogs, but I've never had a dog. The dog that I nearly stole was 120 pounds. I tried to steal him, but the owner just wouldn't let me. Let's see. Now we have Missy, you have 3 cats, 2 German Shepherds, and they are not fun to sew with. The dogs are huge and needy. I love that. My cats like to get into my batting and make holes in it because the batting that hangs down from a long arm, they thought was the best bedding ever. And they also like to lay on the quilt on the long arm. So anytime I wasn't quilting, I had to release the tension on the long arm so that it wasn't a hammock, so they wouldn't lay on it. A rat terrier is up there with a Chihuahua. They'll bark at the drop of a hat. Okay. I am I babysit my sister's dog when I visit, and it is half beagle and half Italian Greyhound, and it's got the barking gene. She doesn't bark for me very much because she doesn't get anything good from it. Like I won't give her treats if she barks. If I'm giving her a treat and she barks, the treat goes away. So she knows from me. But she's a barker. So yeah, I would love to have animals, but it's just not my reality. I found a video online last night of an old Jimmy Fallon. I was just sitting and doom scrolling. It was an old Jimmy Fallon clip, and I knew it was old because he had a bandage on his finger. So it was before the pandemic when he hurt his finger. He got caught, his ring got caught, and it ripped his finger off. So it was an old video of they had a question game show with him and Kaylee Cuoco. I don't know how to say her name. And whoever, as you answered a question right, you got to hold a puppy, and then you got to hold another puppy, go and you answered the next one right. Like, I need that game. I need to snuggle with some puppies. So that was one really fun thing. I also met some wonderful people, and had some fun doing long arm quilting. We worked on free motion quilting, quilting with the Pro Stitcher, which is the computerized software, and the working with rulers, which things that I love. So I'm still trying to clean up from all of those quilts. I destroyed my house packing for that, which was fun. Let's see. I have a list. So tomorrow I'm going to be back with a feather class and Debbie Brown's machine quilting Facebook group at 7 o'clock New York time. But at 7 o'clock Central Time, Gudrun Erla, who is GE Designs, or GE Quilt Designs, you can look her up. She has a quilt called Kobe, and she's doing a quilt along tomorrow night, an hour after my video that I already have my fabric for. And it is my animal crackers and my mid-century modern chairs. So I've already bought the pattern and I'm ready to go. And I'm doing this just because I'm a fan and the quilt looked really fun, just like that one behind me, which is from the AQS blog. So I just wanted to let you know that that was available. She has a quilt along going that is going to have videos, and I will make mine up real quick and probably do some quilting on it, which will be fun because video. And what else have I been doing? This is going to end up in the Color Blocks group. I have been making placemats with my bonus triangles, my bonus half square triangles. So whenever you take a color block and make a triangle out of it, I make a triangle that's not a perfect triangle because I don't want to have to match any seams. So I only put a 7-inch square over the 8.5-inch square, and it makes a triangle-ish trapezoid. And then this part here ends up making a bonus half square triangle. So I've saved some from the chevron quilt that I did in July of 2021. These are left over from that, and I made a series of placemats. And I used my Wonderfill Fabulux thread number 40. It's called Be Cool, and it is mint green, aqua, and gray. And for those who don't know, this is my thread line. And I designed this thread based on a hotel room that I stayed at in Miami. So Be Cool. So I made these and I quilted them up using that spiral design, which I love so much. So I will be, the basic pattern is trim and sew 6 together. That's the pattern for a placemat. Let's see, we have some comments. Love the placemat, and circular quilting is so much fun on a little project. Not so much fun on a queen size. Done it on a queen size, but I agree with you. It's a little more shoulders. And I've been doing body weight exercises. I'm trying to get into shape to do some hiking and regain some more physical ability after my illness this winter. So I've been on the treadmill every day and doing some body weight exercises. And apparently they work because I feel it in my shoulders in a good way, kind of. Every time I'm like, oh, yeah, oh, okay, that's a good hurt. But quilting like that can give you the same workout on the shoulders. I have a question for you about this spiral design. Number one, how many of you have quilted a spiral? The very first machine quilting tutorial in Color Blocks back in 2021 was how to quilt a spiral. How many of you have made one of those? And a lot of people have. I know that. But as I was making these, I made them all with a 1/2-inch spiral in a color that matched the blocks, and everything is perfect. But I've actually, whenever I used to teach at all the big quilt shows before the pandemic, I taught a walking foot class where I taught spirals and other walking foot designs. Let's see. Love the placement ideas. Oh, sorry, that's a new one. That was an older comment. So yes, we have quilted spirals. Um, but that is a spiral. There are many spirals that can be quilted and variations of spirals that can be quilted. I was wondering if anyone would be interested in a separate online class about um, walking foot spiral variations, just spirals, because I have a quilt ready to quilt and I could quilt it many ways, but one of them could be a spiral and it would start being a sample for the class. So let me know if you're interested in variations of spirals and different things you can do with them, because it's kind of fun. So that was another subject I had in my book for you. My book gets designed with whatever stickers people hand me, and I'm big on Hello Kitty and Cinderella. Those are big things with me. So let's see. I covered Gudrun, color blocks, dogs and cats who quilt, placemats, and a spiral class. Those were the questions I had for you. Look for a newsletter from me. Still working on getting my act together. Let's see. Variations of spirals sounds interesting. Okay, I can work on that. You've never done spiral quilting before, Annette. Okay, so what you have to do is join Color Blocks 2021 and go to January, and you'll see a video on how to make spirals. It's free. You can go look at it now. No problems. So there you go. It's there for you. But as I'm quilting up some quilts that I need, like this is a baby quilt. It's like 60 inches, but it's for a baby, my friend's granddaughter. I can quilt a spiral on it and start making content for the next class. So yeah, if anyone's interested, if you're interested in that, I will start working on that. The placemat idea is fun. I make placemats for my mom. Let's see. I make placemats for my mom. She's got stacks and stacks and stacks, like hundreds of them. And I made placemats for my mother-in-law, and she has fewer because I give them to my mom just to annoy her. My mother-in-law, when we were all there, one of our visits this spring, was mixing and matching placemats. So I thought she needed a set. And since she's not on Facebook, I can tell you this will be her birthday present because I had enough blocks here to do 6 placemats. So she'll have a matching set, and I have the binding cut. These were all scrap blocks, but I put them on yardage for the back, and then I used yardage from this line. It's a green for the front, green and gray for the front. So I'll be binding those up, which brings up the binding class I have. If any of you love binding, I don't understand you. But I used to bind everything by hand, and now I bind by machine because it gets them done. And this is a really great place to practice because there's 4 corners. There's 24 corners and 6 joins to making this. So those will end up in the color block class eventually. And again, you can check out the binding class online. That's at debbiebrownquilts.com. Click online classes. Well, that is basically what I have to tell you today. Let's see. A single row of blocks with a border would make a matching runner. That is true. I used all the blocks. For the chevron quilt that I did in July of 2021, it was this way. And I had apparently 24 triangle blocks in it for, I guess. This is all it made. But I put together my my beachy color. I wanted like blue, green, beachy. So I put together anything that felt like that. I could do it again, I suppose, and make more. But the blue, green, and gray thread just worked perfectly on there. And it's just a nice little surprise when you get up close that it's actually a color in there rather than texture only, which is what you see from further. Let's see. Missy, you're supposed to bind them? You must agree with my friend Scott, who doesn't bind his quilts either. He only binds them whenever he has a book coming out. So yeah, no, I do like to bind them because then I can get them out of my house. As in, these will be packed up and ready for a birthday. I have some wedding quilts that are ready to go, and they can't go until they've been bound. But otherwise, I completely agree with you. I have a lot of unbound samples. Uh, so it is farm season. My husband did the picking for me last week at the farm because I was teaching, and he did not pick all of the currants. So I have to go back and pick currants, except it's raining. He picked in dry weather, and I get to go back in the rain today or tomorrow and pick more currants. Tonight's dinner is kale and ground beef and rice and eggs and cheese, some sort of a casserole thing just to finish a bunch of stuff up. Um, because my every night we're like, what vegetable do we need to use the most of? Last night was half of a head of Napa cabbage, and I made an egg roll bowl out of it, which is delightful. Just Google Skinny Taste egg roll bowl, and you'll get the recipe. It's at Lexi's Clean Kitchen. It's delicious. And if I have Napa cabbage, that's what I make. So for the rest of you who are gardening or cooking and preserving like I am during farm season, I get it that things take us away from quilting. But I will be back to quilting for the afternoon because I think I'm going to put off picking currants until tomorrow. Happy quilting, everyone. I hope you have a great week. I will be back tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock working on feather lesson 8, I believe. We're going to be doing a background of free flowing feathers. And then at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, New York time, I'm going to head over to Gudrun Erla and watch her live on doing her Kobe quilt. And then I'm going to start piecing that tomorrow night. So I have a lot of quilting in my future. Happy quilting, everyone. I'll see you again.